Hello, I'm the Zett, and in this video I will show you the CiPL installer for the PSP Go, the PSP 3000, the PSP E1000, the PSP 2000 and the PSP 1000. That's right, this CiPL installer will work on every single PSP. For starters, we will need a PSP that's running the firmware 6.61. It's important that if you are currently running a custom firmware, this PSP is not, but if you're currently running a custom firmware, it must not be running Infinity. This one is running the normal version 6.61, the Sony version, and otherwise it's a normal PSP. Oh yeah. If you're currently running Infinity, you will have to use this homebrew, the Chrono Switch downgrader, to get rid of Infinity, because you can't just simply uninstall Infinity. To uninstall Infinity, you have to reinstall the version 6.61. Then, if you did this, assuming you had Infinity, you end up on the normal version 6.61. If you have this, well, follow the instructions and you will get a full custom firmware with CiPL. CiPL is basically the best way of making a custom firmware permanent. The permanent patch, oh, that's okay. Infinity, great. But CiPL is literally the best way of having a permanent custom firmware. Additionally, this version of the new CiPL has some built-in extra protections that in case your PSP is broken, you are most likely able to recover it without any external need. So at first, for starters, we're going to use our ARK loader. This will load the ARK-4 custom firmware, which is currently the best and most versatile, feature-rich custom firmware for the PlayStation Portable. As you can see, the custom firmware is loaded. We go into our system settings, and as you can see, 6.61 ARK-4 live. The live version basically just means this is a temporary version of ARK. If I turn off the PSP right now and we turn it back on, the custom firmware would not be loaded. Then we have our full installer. We can use this one, which will fully install ARK in the flash of the PSP, but it will still not be permanent yet. It just means if you have no memory stick insert, you can still boot the ARK custom firmware. For starters, we're going to do this because I want the most complete experience for the custom firmware, regardless of what memory stick I use. I mean, it's a bit redundant on the PSP Go because you always have the internal storage, but if you use it on any other PSP, you might swap memory sticks, and if you didn't reboot the PSP or whatever, it might not load the custom firmware. So we're using the full installer, but it's still not fully done yet. Next, we use our new ARK CiPL flasher. This version of the CiPL flasher works on every single PSP. Every single one. It works on the 1000, the 2000, every single 3000, there are 4 different models. It works on any PSP Go, and it also works on the PSP Street, the PSP E1000. You can see it detected my device running 6.61, and the 5G just means it's a PSP Go. Internally, the PSP Go is referred to as the 5th generation PSP. Anyway, we press X to install our CiPL. We're flashing our CiPL. It's completed. And now we will have a full, true custom firmware. This is on par with the same custom firmwares we had 15 years ago, well 10 years ago, on the PSP 1000 and 2000. If I press our reset device feature here now, if I use this function, it will reboot the PSP. It will fully reboot the PSP. So if everything went fine, the PSP should now automatically start our custom firmware. See, the LED is flashing. That's a good sign. Screen is turning on. That's also great. And there we go. 6.61 ARK-4 CiPL custom firmware. I would take out the battery and start the PSP after taking out the battery, but it's hard to do in the PSP Go. So what I'm simply doing is I will hold the power button until the PSP automatically turns off. You can see I'm not moving my hand at all for like 10 seconds, so you will know the PSP is fully turned off. And now slide it up, it turns on. a nice feature of the PSP Go. And once again, it is immediately booting into the custom firmware. Let's get a better camera focus. ARK-4 version 4.20.69. This is a full custom firmware, including CiPL. There we go. Now the camera has better focus. I want to try it again. There's this shutdown feature. PSP turned off. Turn it back on manually. Once again, it is immediately booting the custom firmware with CiPL. Thanks to the power of CiPL, you can now have a full, true custom firmware. I was also talking about some protective measurements in case you, well, somehow break something about the operating system of the PSP. Quite simple. If you use the tool, did I not copy it onto this? Whatever. We have a tool called DC, which stands for Despertar del Cementerio. I also made a video about it. That tool effectively allows you to unbrick your PSP if it's bricked. Normally, you need a Pandora battery or a baryon sweeper and a magic memory stick to unbrick your PSP. This is still true for the CiPL custom firmware, except if you install the CiPL custom firmware first and afterwards accidentally brick your PSP. There's a good chance that you can unbrick it without needing a baryon sweeper. If your PSP is already bricked, then you will need a baryon sweeper. It is mandatory, except for the PSP 1000 and 2000. Those can use an old Pandora. But on the newer PSPs, it's mandatory. But if your PSP is not yet bricked and you install ARK with CiPL, then you have a good chance to unbrick it if you ever happen to brick it after installing the CiPL. So I'm talking around about these security measurements. So why don't we take a look at it? At first, I shut down the PSP. Next, I'm holding L, here, L. And then I turn on the PSP. If you hold L while booting the PSP, it will attempt to read DC from the memory stick. And there we go, it booted. It booted into DC off of the memory stick. In most cases, if you install ARK with CiPL first and then happen to brick your PSP, in most cases, you can boot up this menu. And this menu will allow you, well, at first, it allows you to boot a custom firmware from the memory stick. So even if you were to brick the PSP, you could just use this boot feature and still use it. But more importantly is, you can see, Model 5G, it's a PSP Go. More importantly is, this feature allows you to reinstall the entire firmware of the PSP. The entire firmware, be it the official Sony firmware or custom firmware. If I press this install button now, it will install the ARK firmware. So if you brick your PSP after installing the CiPL version of ARK, then you can use this L-boot feature to boot into this menu if you have the correct files on the memory stick. You need the correct files on the memory stick for this menu to appear, but the feature to look for these files on the memory stick, the possibility to boot this menu, it is always there once you install the CiPL. And this is what I meant by having improved security features. Unless the CiPL itself managed to be damaged, you should always be able to boot this menu. And it would mean you can unbrick the PSP even if you don't have a sweeper. And this is absolutely amazing. This was not possible many years ago because no one thought of this. This is just ingenious. So you have a way to unbrick the PSP if you have a baryon sweeper. Well, back in the day, a Pandora battery. But nowadays, if you install this ARK version of, well, the ARK custom firmware with the CiPL, then you will be able to effectively use the unbricking tools without the variant sweeper. This is just great. And as you can see, it is a full custom firmware. This is better than Infinity. This is better than the old like 620 perma patch and whatever. And ARK is currently the most feature-rich custom firmware. It is better than Pro, it is better than Me, it's better than LME, and it's better than TN if anyone is still using that. And as you can see, you have the custom firmware settings neatly integrated into the XMB. Like you don't have to press the select button and do something in this menu. I pressed left or right, which is like confirm an action, so it's quick rebooting. Anyway, what I wanted to say is you have the custom firmware settings neatly integrated into the menu, the PSP's XMB. So you can just change anything you want within this menu. You can also configure your plugins within this menu. Well, I guess I have none installed for this presentation, but it would work. You also have a custom launcher, which, well, it's a launcher which allows you to launch more stuff if you want this. I personally don't use this feature, but if you want it, whatever. And otherwise, this is a full custom firmware. It has more features than Pro, it has more features than Me, it has more features than LME. It has, I don't know, it's just the best custom firmware. And thanks to CiPL, it is truly permanent. So, I don't know, happy unbricking everyone, I guess? This is just marvelous. Full custom firmware. This is what we wanted 10, 15 years ago, and we could not do this. Now we can do it. I get the PSP is old, but this is still amazing to me. So yeah, if you want a full custom firmware, be sure that you're on version 6.61 without Infinity. If you already have Infinity, you have to uninstall it. And to uninstall it, you need to use the Chrono Switch downgrader. If you're in 6.61, install ARK, then install the CiPL, and you will have a truly full permanent custom firmware with the best features, with the most features, and the best security. I'm Zett, and see you soon.